As we all know, gravity is an extremely important force that ensures the safety of life on Earth. Have you ever given any thought to what would happen if there was a switch somewhere on Earth for turning gravity off and on? Imagine that one fine day, Earth decided to just switch it off for a bit of fun. In other words, what would happen if gravity disappeared from Earth, even for as little as 5 seconds? Gravity is the gravitational force that the Earth exerts on everything around it, everything that holds some mass at least. This includes everything from the tallest skyscrapers to ultralight insects. If you have mass, then gravity has you in its grasp. Gravity exerts a force known as a gravitational force on everything on Earth and pulls it down. In other words, gravity is the force that keeps everything grounded. When watching movies that take place in outer space, you might feel jealous of these astronauts floating and fooling around in the absence of gravity. In fact, you might even curse gravity for being there, pulling you down all the time. However, you might not want that to happen if you fully understood what would happen if gravity ever decides to call it quits. Without gravity, everything becomes weightless. Instantly, nothing would be held in place. Now, I guess what you're thinking. You may be thinking that as soon as gravity disappears, you would start floating and flying over everything. Cities, maybe even entire countries. It would be awesome, right? If you think that you're in for quite a surprise, and that's not a pleasant one. In the absence of gravity, you wouldn't float around aimlessly. Instead, you'll be like tumbleweeds, fast-moving tumbleweeds. This would not be only you, everything would start moving, including the buildings, automobiles, houses, trees, everything would start tumbling and rolling madly around the Earth. This is because the Earth would still be spinning quite rapidly as it does all the time. Remember, it's gravity that holds everything in place. The moon will also begin traveling in a straight line, which would have different consequences depending on its position in orbit when Earth's gravity turns off. When gravity returns, the moon would resume an orbit, but that orbit would be slightly or extremely more elliptical. It might even crash into the Earth or escape orbit entirely. The Earth might itself temporarily lose its attraction to the Sun since gravity is a two-way phenomenon, changing its orbit into, most likely, a more elliptical orbit with greater variations of temperature. Various geological disturbances like the earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, storms, etc., as the crust, mantle, and the oceans, as well as the atmosphere itself, pull away from the core and then collapse back down when the gravity reasserts itself. Without gravity, Earth's atmosphere would also disappear. This means that there would be a sudden and drastic change in the air pressure, which would mean an immediate and simultaneous rupture of the inner ears of every human being on the planet. We need oxygen to breathe, and without the atmosphere, there will be no oxygen on Earth. Without that necessary oxygen, life will cease to exist on our beloved planet. Yes, the absence of gravity would only be 5 seconds and the great show of life would resume after that time, but there wouldn't be many people left to enjoy the planet. It would mean a complete reboot on Earth.